In today's video, I'll be shining light on some of the best trash talkers in NBA history. But before we start, please make sure to like and subscribe to the channel for more content just like this. Without further ado, let's get started. By most, Michael Jordan is known as the greatest basketball player to ever live. While he's most known for his high-flying dunks and deadly mid-range game, Jordan's opponents know a completely different side of him. You see, Jordan was the ultimate competitor, and he would do whatever it took to infuriate opposing teams. On December 2nd, 1987, Jordan and the Chicago Bulls faced off against Stockton and the Utah Jazz. During one possession, Jordan found himself guarded by John Stockton, which was clearly a mismatch. And after a failed steal attempt by Stockton, Jordan changed to the rim for an easy dunk. After that, the Jazz owner Larry H. Miller yelled, "Pick on someone your own size." Soon after that, Jordan did exactly what he asked and soared over 7'1" Mel Turpin for an electrifying transition dunk. But that wasn't the best part. While running back up the floor, Jordan simply asked him, was he big enough? Jordan was one of the best talkers ever because he seemed to always back it up in exciting fashion. That brings us to November 23rd, 1991. Jordan faced off against the Denver Nuggets, and while he was at the free throw line with 5 seconds left in the Bulls' victory, Jordan said this to Nuggets star Dikembe Mutombo. "Hey Mutombo, this one's for you," he said right before he drained a free throw shot with his eyes closed. You can't mention the best trash talkers without mentioning Kevin Garnett. In his 21 seasons in the NBA, he has made a career off of pissing others off. He not only trash talked to opposing players, but not even his own teammates were safe from him. In 2008, the Boston Celtics were up against the Portland Trail Blazers. After a while, the game had gotten out of hand, and the then Celtics coach Doc Rivers decided to put the reserves in the game. Unfortunately, this decision resulted in the Trailblazers making a comeback, which made KG furious. So, during a timeout, KG gathered and huddled his teammates up to express his frustration of what was happening. As rookie Glenn Davis headed up to the bench in defeat, KG went over and told him, "Stop crying, you big baby," and many are claiming this is what gave him his nickname. This next incident showed just how competitive and ruthless the Celtic game was. After a rookie by the name of Joakim Noah came into the league, he was eager to play against his idol KG for the first time, but unfortunately their matchup didn't go as he originally planned. On their first encounter, young Joakim Noah wanted to finally meet his idol to tell him how much he looked up to him. So Noah walked up to KG and said, "Man, KG, I had your poster on my wall and I looked up to you, man." And KG responded with 3 words, "F you, Noah." Larry Bird is considered by most to be the greatest trash talker of all time. Based on his appearance, you wouldn't think he talked much trash, but that couldn't be further from the truth. Just like Jordan, Larry Bird was such a great trash talker because he always backed it up on the court with his skills. In one incident, Bird was making shot after shot he couldn't miss, and that's when he told the opposing team's coach, "Hey Frank, haven't you got anyone on the bench who can guard me? Because no one out here can." And that's when Coach Layden looked down at his bench and replied, "No." Bird would trash talk anybody. He didn't care if you're a coach, player, or another all-time great player. In one Lakers vs Celtics matchup, Magic Johnson was injured and he had to sit the game out in result. And that's when Bird came over to Magic and said to him, "Man, I'm sorry you're not playing, but I'm gonna tell you what, you're here and I'm gonna put a show on for you, so you just sit back and watch." And according to Magic himself, every time Bird scored a bucket, he would glance over at him. Another incident of him trash talking an all-time great is when he was being guarded by rookie Clyde Drexler. According to Clyde, Bird looked at him and said, "You can't stop me." Clyde then said, "Gosh, boy, you're so confident." To which Bird answered with, "Confident? You're a rookie. You don't know anything." Bird then proceeded to score 10 straight points on him, which made his coach take him out of the game, and Bird walked by him and just laughed. Gary Payton was one of the most entertaining players to watch during his era. Not only was he an insanely great defender, he was just as good at trash talking. In an interview, Gary Payton revealed his entire strategy when it came to trash talking. "My whole strategy to a guy was, if I knew what was really personal in his life, it wasn't really a good thing. But I'm gonna tell you guys now, that was me. That was just the way it was. You can hate me on the basketball court, but I would say sorry to you afterwards. If I knew something about a person's mother, his sister, if he just got a drunk driving charge, I would go to that situation. It might be cruel to some people, but I would go at it." This just proves how ruthless Payton could get if the situation called for it. The next incident happened before a game versus the Nets. Payton scanned the crowd and noticed there wasn't many fans in the attendance. So he told the Nets guard, Kenny Anderson, "At least nobody will see me take the ball from you." Kenny Anderson may have taken it as a joke, but I can assure you that Payton was dead serious. The great Gary Payton finished his career with well over 2,000 steals, placing 5th on the all-time list, and was notorious for robbing guys of the ball night in and night out. Gary Payton wasn't like most NBA players. Even as a rookie, he trash-talked Michael Jordan in a preseason matchup game. And this is what he said describing the experience. "It was an experience, and I had to go against Michael Jordan and had a good game. When it came to the season, Michael Jordan remembered, and at the first ball tip he said, 'Hey, I got the young fella.' He said, 'Don't forget, I remembered about preseason, what you did, and he had 35 on me. I was talking real bad, and he doesn't really play that much in the preseason. I had like 19 points and he was still on the bench and I was still talking.'" You see, Gary Payton didn't wait a certain number of years before he started his trash talking. He started and ended his career being an irritant to those he played against and was really good at it. In today's game, no other player has started more fights and altercations than Draymond Green. Green has been ejected a total of 17 times in his career, and he's only 32 years old. Green's intensity and fearless attitude has won him Defensive Player of the Year and all defensive team awards, and it's also won him a lot of arguments. Let's start with one of his most notorious trash-talking moments to date. During Game 4 of the 2016 Finals, Draymond and LeBron James got tied up, which led Green to serving a 1-game suspension. After the incident, it was pretty obvious LeBron didn't like what was said during their confrontation, which led to many fans wondering what exactly was said. It was later reported that Draymond called LeBron the B-word, which is what ignited a fire in him, leading to a famous blown 3-1 lead. A few days later on Bill Simmons' podcast, he revealed that Draymond didn't call LeBron the B-word, but instead called him an F-boy. This is what Bill Simmons had to say about the incident. "I heard he didn't say the B-word," Simmons said. "I heard it began with an F and ended with a boy. That was what I heard. That's why I think LeBron took it so personally. I'm sure LeBron has been called the B-word before. He really got upset. I don't know if you saw, his feelings got hurt. It's really hard to hurt LeBron's feelings. He's one of the strongest people in the United States." This entire situation seems odd now, because as you know, in the present day, LeBron and Draymond are the best of friends. They're always commenting on each other's social media posts, and LeBron even showed up to his wedding. As you can tell, Draymond isn't shy about going after great players. This was made apparent again after he went after Paul Pierce. In February of 2017, the Warriors played against the Clippers in what was supposed to be an amazing farewell tour for Paul Pierce. But as we all know, the farewell wasn't as big and memorable as he had hoped. This resulted in Draymond telling Pierce, "You can't get no farewell tour," he said. "They don't love you like that. You ain't got that type of love. You thought you were Kobe? You ain't Kobe." Ouch. That was a brutal thing to say to an NBA great. The 4-time All-Star Rasheed Wallace was one of the most feared players in the game, and for good reason. The 6'11" forward was one of the best defensive bigs in the NBA. He is known as the guy who played his best post defense on another all-time great in Tim Duncan. Wallace was never the guy to hold his tongue, and the then Memphis Grizzlies star Rudy Gay can attest to that. After scoring on Rudy Gay for the second straight time, he looked at the Grizzlies bench and said, "You better get that little B-word off me." After that, he continued to taunt the Grizzlies bench all night long. He even told the bench, "Zebo ain't gonna make no difference either." It's safe to say he wasn't scared of anyone. Reggie Miller was a fearless player during the 90s. He would always find himself in many fights and altercations. He wasn't the biggest guy on the floor, but he played with supreme passion and physicality that more than made up for it. He played with such confidence and swagger that no wonder he was so good at trash talking to his opponents. The 5-time All-Star will always be placed among the greatest trash talkers to ever lace them up. Patrick Beverley has made an entire career off of being an irritant and a pest of a player. Yes, he's pretty skilled, but he is put on the floor for one thing and one thing only. Beverley has been one of the best defenders in the league for an extremely long time, which is why he's a 3-time All-Defensive Team honoree. His most recent antic came between himself and Lakers star Russell Westbrook. Patrick Beverley looked in the direction of the Lakers bench and held his nose, calling Russell Westbrook trash. After the game, Westbrook said, "I honestly don't pay any mind to it. The trash talking doesn't bother me. Nobody over there has done anything in this league," Westbrook said. While he was still somewhat correct about that statement, Patrick Beverley and the Timberwolves still had the last laugh, defeating the Lakers 124-104. Shaquille O'Neal is one of the most animated and fun players in NBA history. He was also a giant, and so many players wouldn't dare to disrespect the Diesel in any way. Shaq was the ultimate trash talker. He knows exactly what to say to get under your skin. Shaq's most famous beef is between him and Dwight Howard. The beef is thought to have originated from the whole Superman nickname being given to Dwight, which was originally Shaq's nickname. This beef has lasted a decade, and I don't see it ending anytime soon. Kobe Bryant is one of the most feared and respected players this game has ever seen, mainly due to his relentless dedication for perfecting his craft and his willingness to call out his teams to hold them accountable. One example is when he went on a rant and called his current teammates soft like Charmin, which is believed to have started due to Nick Young trying to trash talk the Black Mamba himself. After the situation happened, Kobe told reporters, "I think Nick probably regrets getting me started in practice and saying something." Did you enjoy the video? If so, hit the like button and subscribe to NBA Swish for more amazing content exactly like this. Hope to see you in the next one.